With a net worth of more than $190 billion and a business that's valued well over $1 trillion, you would definitely have the luxury of buying anything that catches your fancy. And you would have absolutely no need to check the price tag. But of course, this is not you, it's the world's richest man, Jeff Bezos. And in this video, we'll be looking at the top 5 things that he has bought so far. Before we get into that though, I should mention that we haven't included Bezos' many projects, including the ones for space, and all his humanitarian activities. Each of those would require a separate video, so I'd rather not venture into them yet. Now that we have that settled, let's get on with this video. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Coming in at number 5 is a former museum worth $23 million. Back in 2016, Bezos bought a really old former textile museum in Washington's Kalorama neighborhood. As at the time when Bezos bought the property, it was no longer a museum, as the massive 27,000 square foot property had since been converted to a living space. The property housed the textile museum for almost 90 years, before it was moved to George Washington University's campus in 2013. It was put up for sale in the same year, but didn't sell until 2015 for $19 million. It was about this time that the property was converted into a living space. Anyway, the former museum re-entered the market in 2016 for $22 million, which was the year that the property was sold to the Cherry Revocable Trust for $23 million in cash. But word eventually got around that the Cherry Revocable Trust was actually the billionaire Jeff Bezos. Now, not only is the building impressive, the neighborhood also is. Bezos is neighbors with the Obamas, Ivanka Trump and her husband, and also former presidential advisor Jared Kushner. Well, at least he's neighbors with them in this particular property. There are a number of others scattered all around the US, with other influential neighbors, I'm sure. At number 4, we have a private jet worth $65 million. A private jet is probably a necessity for people like Bezos. Don't ask me why, but I think it's quite interesting that he doesn't own or seem to be interested in many fancy cars. With cars, he seems to tend more towards functionality than aesthetics. His actual interests seem to lie in land and space competitions with Elon Musk. But as I mentioned earlier, a private jet is basically a necessity for him, which is why he purchased the Gulfstream G650ER for $65 million. The Gulfstream G650ER is powered by 2 Rolls-Royce BR725 engines, and it has a top speed of over 1,110 kilometers per hour and a range of 13,890 kilometers. So basically, it's one of the fastest private jets around and actually holds official speed records. But technicalities are not the only area where this machine scores. It is basically a lap of luxury, as you should expect from something owned by someone as wealthy as Bezos. This particular Gulfstream has 4 living areas that can comfortably seat up to 19 passengers, and also has a variety of luscious and handcrafted furniture and spacious interiors. Flying would definitely not be a chore. Coming in at number 3 are 4 apartment units, collectively worth $96 million. In June of 2019, Bezos bought 3 units of apartments for $80 million, and then in April of 2020, he added 1 more unit worth $16 million into the group. This made it the largest apartment deal to close in New York and brought the combined worth of the units to $96 million. All the units have since been combined into one massive penthouse, which spans an impressive 23,000 square feet. The penthouse is a 3-story mansion that starts on the 20th floor of the building that it's on, and it boasts a massive skylight, more than 12 bedrooms combined, pools of course, and a roof terrace with a view of the Empire State Building. The mansion is located in the 1912 Neo-Gothic building at 212 Fifth Avenue, near Madison Square Park, and it apparently has a private elevator, which is very important if you ask me. That said, there are currently rumors that Bezos has purchased another unit to the tune of $23 million in the same building. If this is true, we're looking at an even more impressive span of space, and the worth of the property would increase to almost $120 million. In number 2 is the LA home that's worth $165 million. In February of 2020, Bezos purchased a Hollywood estate from David Geffen for $165 million. The estate is basically a 9-acre property that houses a massive 1936 Georgian-style mansion, making Bezos one of the largest landowners in the US. However, depending on how you look at things, the history behind the property is probably as impressive as the property itself. For one, the estate was built and owned by Jack Warner, the head of Warner Brothers Studios, way back in the 1930s, and he lived there until his demise in 1978. Considering how long ago the estate was built, it makes sense that it's been remodeled a number of times over the years. It started out as a Spanish-style home and was then remodeled into a southern antebellum mansion by Warner's second wife. Whatever it looked like when Bezos bought it, I'm pretty sure that he's put his own spin on the mansion, even though he probably does not stay in it very long, considering all the other houses that he has scattered all over the United States. But that's besides the point. And for our number 1, we have a 141-year-old newspaper that was bought for $250 million. The 141-year-old Washington Post was in the Graham family for about 4 generations before Bezos bought it in 2013. He purchased the paper for $250 million through his company, Nash Holdings LLC, and the sale included other local publications, websites, and real estate related to the paper. Some assets were not included in the sale though, like Kaplan and a group of TV stations. Those assets are now under the parent company, which was renamed Graham Holdings Company shortly after the sale. But enough about history. Let's focus on the present. Bezos has actually done wonders with the Washington Post since he bought it. In just 3 years, the paper doubled its web traffic and even became profitable. This is even more impressive when you consider the fact that the paper was practically in a financial crisis before it was sold. In fact, that's the reason why it was sold. Bezos must have moved heaven and earth to achieve what he has with the paper in such a short time, restoring the paper's relevance and making it profitable. But then again, if he was willing to put down $250 million for a dying paper, especially in this digital age when people don't read newspapers as much as they used to, he must have been sure that he was going to turn things around and make it profitable. He is the owner of a business outfit that's valued at more than $1 trillion after all. And that brings us to the end of this video. Do you have opinions on Bezos' purchases? What would be your top purchases if you had all the money Bezos has? Tell us in the comments section. While you're at it, consider hitting the like button if you enjoyed this video, subscribe to this channel for more videos like this, and hit the notification bell so that you know when we post a new video. We'll see you in the next video.